Mountains to all the Mesilla Valley, reaching all of New Mexico. Broadcasting live from the Las Cruces studios, bringing you the issues that matter and the topics that count. Telling it like it is. It's the Mike Tellez Show. And now here's your host, Mike Tellez.
Thank you very much for joining us today. My name is Mike Tellez. We've got another person right now that I believe is somebody that we need to pay attention to. Abel Balcazar,
yes,
running for school board. Now you're probably thinking, we went from crime, we went from our drug problem, our homeless problem. Now all of a sudden we're interviewing people running for school board. How does that, what's the contrast on that? Why do we do that? I'm going to tell you why we do that. I believe a lot of the reason we have the crime, we have the problems we have today is because we've failed to pay attention to our school board officials. We don't vote. We don't vote for them. I see people get in there with 200 votes. We have not paid attention to our school board for so many years. Our results are what we're seeing today on the streets. I think it's time we need to pay attention to what I believe is the most important office there is. President, no. Governor, no. The future of our nation, yes. And that is our school board elected officials. Those are the people who are in charge of 100% of our future. And they are the most ignored, overlooked people ever. I'm going to tell you something. Ask yourself, when was the last time you voted for a school board election? And you know what? You'll be shocked. You probably haven't. So I'm telling you right now, we are going to bring awareness, because if we want to change tomorrow, we better start today by paying attention to our school board officials. I've talked to Abel. I'm going to tell you something. I have a good feeling about the people we have running. I think, hey, Abel, I thank you very much for coming in today, man.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you for taking on this endeavor, brother.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Navy?
Yes, I was in the United States Navy for 20 years.
20 years.
I retired in 2009.
Did you see all over where'd you go? Did you go all around the world?
I've been in every continent except Antarctica. So 32 different countries around the world.
So you've seen what every culture, a lot of cultures you've seen.
Yes, and you know, I've seen a lot of different cultures, a lot of different ways of life. And all my travels have done is reinforce, really, my appreciation for the blessings we have here in America.
To love the United States.
Right. We have a good thing going here
We
in
sure
America.
do. And you know what? It's time, and you've decided it's time to pay attention and get in there and start doing something about it rather than talking about it.
Right. After the last election, I just realized that voting's not enough. That you know, I served my country. I've been married to my wife for 24 years, and we've raised our 3 children. They're all adults now. We now have grandchildren and nieces and nephews in the public schools. So I've served my country. I've raised my family, and I believe now is the time for me to step up and serve my community on the school
So, Abel,
board.
you're not through serving yet.
No, I'm not due serving. I've lived a life.
You're going to serve another 10, 20 years. Okay.
Yes,
hey, you know what? That's what God put us here for, is to serve people.
Right, serve
And
others.
here you are. You're going to serve the most important. I think the most important there is.
Right. Our next generation, our young people, our future.
That's right. And it's 100% of the future.
Yes, it is.
Everyone is that age. Nobody is born old.
Right. That's true.
Wow. Well, you know what? And the Navy's given you a lot of experience, huh?
Yes. I mean, you know, just I entered the Navy as an enlisted person, and so, you know, you first you have to learn how to take orders, right?
Yes.
You have to learn how to be part of a team, how to work with others to accomplish the mission, and then as you gain that experience, then they entrust you with leadership. So now you start leading the new people that come into the Navy, showing them the ropes as it is, make decisions, key decisions that impact where a mission is going to be accomplished or not.
So you've seen a lot of young people. In your time, you've seen a lot of young kids come in there.
Right. I was that young person, and then I started leading those young people.
Wow. So, and you ended up the assistant to the commander.
Yes. Shortly after my first job after I retired from the Navy, I worked at White Sands Missile Range at the McAfee Health Clinic, and I was the commanding officer who was a colonel, lieutenant colonel in rank. I was the executive assistant. So
Excellent.
I was the commanding officer's right-hand person, took care of all his administrative duties.
And the district you're running for, I'm going to tell you, I think that is one of the most important districts. One.
Yes, District 1.
Those are the schools in the poorer areas.
Yes, they are.
The less fortunate areas.
Right, it's right in the center of town, from west of the 25 and east of the river. So right down the center of the city.
Wow. You know that at one point, when I owned IHOP, I adopted every single school, elementary school in Donana County.
Oh, that's amazing.
I've been in every single school in this county.
Mm-hmm.
And, of all the schools I've been to, some of the South Valley schools are kind of tough.
Mm-hmm.
But District 1, I think, had the toughest schools of all of them.
Yes, and
Booker T, MacArthur, Central. You have Alameda,
Loma Heights, Sierra Middle School,
Yep.
and Mayfield High School.
Yep. And Mayfield High School at that time was one of the biggest in the state, I believe.
Yes, it was.
Overcrowded, it was. And now that they've got Centennial, it's gone down quite a bit. But my goodness, that's an important district.
Yes, it's an important
Because
district.
that's a district there that we really have to pay attention to. And we need to do whatever we can to educate these young kids and give them a chance in life.
Yeah, give them an opportunity to succeed. I grew up, I was blessed enough to be able to receive an education where I never heard my teachers tell me that I couldn't do something. Right. They instilled in me that work ethic, that if you do what you need to do, you come to school, you study, you do your homework, you just attend school, that you can be successful. It doesn't matter what your color is, doesn't matter how much money your family has. All that matters is how much you want to put in it. Yeah. You get out of your education what you want to put into it, what you put into it. And have the resources that students need to be successful. Have internet access, have textbooks, have school supplies, have all the things they need. So all the student has to focus on is being educated.
Yeah. And I think that internet access, we spend money on, somebody got $5 million for a shot, one shot in the arm. Now, I know it was earmarked for health related, but my goodness, $5 million for a shot. We need internet access for all these people, all of them, everybody. And you know what? Put heavy filters on it so they can't go in and get up any kind of questionable materials. But we need to get out there, we need to pay attention and get that internet access. You think that's an important thing that needs to happen? Yes,
especially recently, with these lockdowns and with the long extended school closures. Our young people our young students in disadvantaged areas, they're the ones who suffered most of the learning loss because they didn't have the reliable internet access. Yeah. They didn't have the reliable computer, IT equipment that they need to be able to be involved in a Zoom meeting. So we need to. The money we spend needs to go to the classroom.
Exactly.
It needs to go to the classroom. And when I'm on the school board, that's the first question I'm going to ask. Before we spend this money, number one, how does it benefit our students? How does it improve outcomes? If it doesn't equal increased student outcomes, then we shouldn't be spending that money on that.
Oh, what a concept.
Right.
What a concept. I mean, we grow up hearing that from our parents. What are you going to buy with it? What are you going to do with it? And only to have billions spent without question. You know why? Because we don't pay attention.
We don't pay attention.
We don't vote. 200 people, that's it. So it just goes in. So accountability is something you really believe in then?
Yes, accountability. I mean,
on where that money's going in and how is it benefiting?
Right, and answering to parents, answering to the community.
That's another thing that isn't happening.
No, it hasn't happened for a long time.
I think that we have let it get derailed. The parents are totally cut out now, and there's a gulf between them and the parents, and they have now taken over our kids to where they think it's their kids, not the parents.
Right. The school system needs to understand again that the children belong to the parents. That the parents are entrusting us as the school system to educate their children, not to raise their children. The
Right.
raising and the transferring of values, that's the parents' responsibility, endowed to them from God Himself. So the fact that our school system right now, especially our school board, does not partner with parents, it is failing our students in the end, because there needs to be a partnership.
It seems like an animosity. It seems like the enemy.
Yeah, it shouldn't be an adversarial, the school system versus the parent. It should be a team effort.
Exactly.
Right? And right now,
A welcoming team effort.
a welcoming team effort, and a school board that's receptive to input from parents in the community. Our current school board president is very notorious in school board meetings from cutting, when they have public comment, of cutting people's time from 3 minutes to 2 minutes.
Wow.
For the sake of time. That just shows that he's not
really caring what they have to say.
not welcoming the input.
Yeah, because once you get up there 2 minutes, you can't say much in 2 minutes.
You can't say much in 2 minutes.
But you give them 3 minutes, and you know what? And if it's something that is, to them, it's important. So one way, I guess, would be, what are your thoughts on having them in other places? The
Well,
meetings.
Yes, I mean, right now, the way the school board's meetings are set up, it forces parents to have to come to them.
Yeah.
Okay. The school board members need to realize that they work for the parents. They work for the community, the voters that elected them. So they need to go to them. Why not have school board meetings in each district of the school board, on a rotating basis in a school in that district?
Yeah. And you know what? I've been to the schools, and they got nice auditoriums.
Yes, they do.
Allow that district to have their month where that district comes forward to a school they're familiar with, to an area they're familiar with, to where they feel comfortable going to it and voicing their concerns.
Yes.
And then go to each district and rotate it around.
Rotate it around so you're accessible to your constituency.
That is awesome, man. That's how it needs to be. And not only accessible, you're able to advertise it more. Send the home notes. Let that district know this is your night. You need to come down here to this meeting, and have an orderly way to turn in what their concerns are, to where when they get up there, they're ready to present their concerns.
Right. A parent or a community member shouldn't have to dig through a website
Right.
to figure out when the next school board meeting is.
Exactly.
It should be common knowledge.
And you know what? There should be a billboard out there that shows our next school board meeting.
Yes,
Because
exactly.
they spend enough money on other things. I see them trying to I see a billboard that says that educate, not indoctrinate. You know what? Why don't we educate them? And that money, whatever they're wanting to spend on something that parents do not like.
Right.
You know that a critical race theory is the biggest, that's a cuss word right now. It's hard. And people, it's crazy right now what people's thoughts are. I grew up in the 60s.
Right.
Well, I saw racism. You know what? We've come a long ways, brother.
Yes, we have.
We have improved. We do not I don't want anything because of my race.
Right.
I just say, hey, you know what? I'm an American. I'm a Christian. Let's leave that race stuff out. I don't even want to think about it. Just drive on. Let's educate.
Right.
And let's use that money we spend on all these other programs to get that internet, get them billboards up, advertise the school board meetings. When we come back, we're going to talk to Abel a little bit more about some of his ideas. He's a good man right here. You need to vote for him. Write his name down. Abel Balcazar.
Yes.
When we come back with the Mike Tellez.
When the school board mismanages its financial and fiduciary obligations, does not respect the will of the community, and pursues misguided policies not reflective of the community, we lose our trust, and our parents deserve more. School board members are accountable for the regulations and policies they pursue. As these regulations and policies are debated, full transparency must occur in the deliberations with parents and the community. Trust is earned when the school board demonstrates its adherence to the will of the community. Join me in restoring accountability and transparency. I'm Eloy Francisco Macha, School Board District 3.
Paid for by Macho for LCPS.
If your loved one has passed away due to COVID-19, pay close attention to this message. You could be entitled to a death benefit of over $300,000. The U.S. government has set up a fund to pay families relief if they've lost a loved one due to COVID-19. The compensation includes a death benefit and lost wages benefit. Time is limited, so we urge you to make a free phone call right now. There's no cost to you for this claim. That's 866-372-3669.
Thank you for joining us with the Mike Tellez Show. My name is Mike. Okay. Welcome back to the Mike Tellez Show. My name is Mike Tellez, and we are with Abel Balcazar, running for School Board District 1. That's the middle of Las Cruces. The tough schools there that need leadership right now. We're in desperate need of good leadership in our school board. Leadership that will listen to us, that won't cut us off, that won't shut us down and unplug the mic or cut us off at 2 minutes. We need somebody that cares enough to pay attention and listen to what you have to say. This man's right here. Abel, you're talking about the parents is who you work for. The kids are who you represent. What a concept. That sounds like a pretty good plan right there, man.
Right, that's the only reason to be a school board member.
Yeah, well, they sure got away from that.
Right, they started listening to other interests.
Yes, special interest groups.
Special interests, whether it be the National Education Association, American Federation of Teachers. They have their own agenda, you know.
Right.
And if you want to really research what their agenda is, it's definitely not students first. So my agenda is students first.
You know that I think that is the only way it should be.
Right.
Students first. My goodness. Why would you think, and you know what? It's because of our lack of involvement in that. I think you were saying that you believe that we need to take the school board out into the open and let people get involved however they can get involved. We need to run it Facebook, social media, send notes home with those students, billboards. Hey, let's push it. Get involved.
Complete transparency.
That's right. Complete transparency. And you know, at the same time, I believe that if we can get the parents to engage, maybe they can go home and say, you know what? I think it's time for us to pay attention a little more with school.
Right. And during the campaign, I've been knocking doors, talking to people about the schools. And a lot of the concerns from parents is just not having transparency, not having access to curriculum, not knowing exactly what their children are being taught in the classroom, not having access to reading lists, textbook lists. Easy. Right now, to get any type of information like that, you have to do a record request, a Freedom of Information Act record request.
So that's not out in the open?
No, it's not out in the open.
Present that this is what we'll be reading this year?
It is not easily accessible.
Oh my goodness.
A parent should be able to go on a website or something, click a link for their student's class, and be able to see what the curriculum is, what the books that are being used
on a part of the first day of school.
First day of school. This is what we're going to be studying.
Yes.
Yes.
And on the last day of school, this is what we're looking at next year.
Yeah, it's called a syllabus, right?
Yeah, that's a syllabus. I mean, I see it in college.
It's called a syllabus.
My goodness. And they don't do that.
Most parents are generally clueless on what a child is being taught in the classroom on a daily basis.
And they're shocked. Once they start seeing it later on, it's already too late. It's in there.
It's already in there. If total transparency, all that should be easy to. Again, the school should be in partnership with the parent. There shouldn't be any secrets.
And you know what? They should have a chance to talk about what their kids are going to be reading.
Yes. right? And encourage that. Encourage those conversations.
Yeah, encourage it. Hey, tell us if you don't like it. We want to hear it.
You want to hear it, right?
Not just what they want to hear. Now they just cut you off and they said, no, you don't know what you're talking about. We know better.
Right, right. And have that collaborative relationship, and make parents feel that they're key, that they're a part of the child's education, and
Right.
that their input is respected, and bring back these PTAs and PTOs in the schools.
Are they kind of? I don't hear about those.
They've
much.
kind of died and faded away,
Wow.
and they just haven't been encouraged to flourish and operate within the schools. I mean, those organizations are very key.
I think that should be something that they need to do. You have to. Let's get that PTA. Let's build it up strong.
Strong again. I remember when I went to school, my mom was there, bake sales.
Yeah.
You know, just really involved in the school and
my mom and dad worked a lot. But you know what? They were there.
They were there. They
And
would
I'll
find the
tell you
time.
what, I would get my ear pulled out that door if some of those. I was careful because I knew when my mom went there, she's going to talk to my teachers.
Right.
So I was a little more careful with the way I behaved in
Right.
school and.
Yeah, and parental involvement. You'll be amazed how it affects student behavior. It does.
Absolutely.
And they know the parents know what's going on.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm disappointed to hear that that's not a big thing still.
No, I mean, I've talked to parents. They go, no, I mean, in my school, there's really no active PTA, parent organization of any kind.
Goodness, that is a must.
Right. It has
So the goal, it almost looks like their goal is to lock the parents out of it and let them have complete control.
Right. It's just right now they're bowing to whatever the New Mexico Public Education Department tells them to do.
Wow. And then they go to the federal and.
Right. And it's all based on they want to ensure that funding keeps on coming in.
Yeah.
But charter schools are charter schools are in my hometown of San Antonio have been very successful. The high school I went to in San Antonio was a crime-ridden high school with a lot of problems. It was a failing school. But then they came up with a concept where they made the schools a career-centered school. For example, my old high school in San Antonio is now a healthcare and law-focused school.
Oh my goodness!
If you're a child that's interested, if you're a student that's interested in a healthcare or law career, you go to Fox Tech High School.
Oh my goodness! What a concept! I love that.
Right. So they did that with a lot of the schools that were at one time failing schools. They're very successful schools now.
Wow.
They have a school that's focused on engineering, STEM, et cetera, et cetera. There's nothing stopping that from happening here in Las Cruces, right?
We need to think outside the box. Man.
Outside
Get
the
out of
box.
that box and venture out. I even think that vocational opportunities. When I ran for mayor and I talked to the president of Donana Community College and I said, what would be stopping our students who want a vocational? We got the 2-year degree. Well, why couldn't we get students to go in there for that vocational training?
Right.
Welding, HVAC, any of that.
Partner with local, construction trades. Partner with local developers and builders here in the area.
Man.
To get those
educate these students academically. When they graduate, they have somewhere to work.
Right? Because not every student wants to do a 4-year.
That was me.
Right. So
that was me.
Partner with the city of Las Cruces.
You bet. There are a lot. I'm a former business owner, and all we need to do is be asked. Heck yeah, we'll be involved with that.
Right. Yes. And like you said, there's a lot of enthusiasm in the business community to build these trade partnerships.
Yeah, there is.
It's just
there's help wanted signs everywhere.
The willingness from the school board, like you said, to think outside the box and to try different things.
We need to think. Well, that's how we need to think.
Right.
We need to get it to the point to where we get the parents involved, get the community backing them, get all these business saying, yeah, you bet, I'll be part of that.
What's wrong with having a child who wants to be a healthcare partner with Memorial Medical Center or Mountain View Medical Center?
That's exactly right, man. I love that. And you know that businesses are eager to help.
Yes.
And Then we start creating a workforce.
Yes, a workforce.
When I ran for mayor, the one thing that was when I would talk about, ask why do we not have businesses coming in, they said we don't have a workforce. That's when I went to the university and I talked to the president there and I said, what do we need to do to gear ourselves to workforce coming in? I said, just do it.
Just do it.
Well, you know what? We get our high schools geared that way. You know, we could have some of our kids working right here, going to college if they want, working here, but at least having a dream that they're going to be doing something.
Right, and building something here,
That's
raising
right.
their family here.
I'll make enough money to live at home and be able to take care of business right here and stay around here.
Not have to go somewhere else to be successful.
Because not everybody likes that stuff.
Right.
You know, my daughter, she went to master's at NMSU. She went to Mesilla Valley Christian School, a straight A student at that private school. She went to NMSU, Crimson Scholar. She graduated highest in the class. Then she went to the University of Florida Law School. And then her mom says, wow, are you going to come back and where are you going to work? She says, there's no work in that area. What am I going to do there? She now works in Tampa, has a great job, works for a top-end law firm. She succeeded, but you know what? How often do you see her?
Right.
And last year, you couldn't see her at all.
At all.
We need to do whatever it takes to keep our kids home.
So, yeah.
To build a workforce big enough to bring industry in here that will support this community.
Right.
And I don't mean, you know, these minimum wage jobs, they're okay to start with. But you know what? We need real work for our students here.
Yes, real work.
And you know what? It starts with you.
Right.
And we can,
It starts
I
on the
can
school
ask
board.
you, and you will do, what you say is who you are, and you're giving us your word that you're going to go out there and fight for our kids.
Yes.
And other parents are going to now have us bring that back to the table and have a say so.
Right.
Take the meetings out to the districts, and you're going to bust it and serve our city just like you served our country.
Yes, that's very true.
I'm going to tell you something. I ask you all, this man right here, District 1, if you live there, you need to volunteer to help him in his campaign. Talk to your neighbors. Help them out. Donate. I don't care what. Matanza in your neighborhood. You need to get some people together in your neighborhood and invite this gentleman here, Abel Balcazar. Invite him into your house. Bring some neighbors. You know what? It's time to take back our schools, and it starts with Abel Balcazar. And I'm telling you, sir, thank you. Thank you for running that. Thank you for serving our country. We appreciate you and we respect you. Thank you for joining me with the Mike Tellez Show. My name is Mike Tellez from downtown Las Cruces Studios.